Serhiy Ivanovich, could you please tell us, recalling the situation near Kurakove in the Novopavlivsk direction, it's clear that the enemy is moving and wants to cut off this route leading to Zaporizhia in several places, advancing from the Dacha area and from Andriivka. Will the occupiers be trying to stabilize the front, moving further towards Novosilki to create a continuous line, essentially? And what happens next? So they will continue to constrain our forces. Will there be a part of the redeployment, or will they move further?
We need to understand that stabilizing the front is not the actual goal. It is not the sole task of the Russian military command. How does the enemy generally operate? He identifies weak points and tries to develop an offensive wherever he can. So, if the front is stabilized as a result, it won't be the goal, but rather a consequence of what has happened. Also, as a result of the offensive actions being carried out by the enemy, this is the situation.
Time as they are throwing people and bombs. The enemy is making advances in Chasiv Yar and fighting is ongoing in the urban area. The enemy succeeded in something. Advance in the very location. If we look at the map, we can note that the occupiers now, they have created certain threats for our forces, particularly in the area of Kalinivka at this bend. They are encircling from the north of Chasiv Yar. In Chasiv Yar, there is progress in the city from the northern area towards Novopivnichny. The occupiers have managed to make some progress there, and they are moving also a little further south in the area of Workshop number 2 and in the area of Shevchenkova. Right now, this is basically the line of demarcation. Our forces are moving along this bend. The enemy is also moving along the T0504 highway. This highway from the occupied Ivanivske, they are moving towards Stupochki, which is basically the southern flank of Chasiv Yar, likely with the aim of creating conditions for encircling the city to trap it in a certain way. Now the city is being stormed by combined units of the occupiers. This is the 98th Airborne Division as well as the 1065th Regiment Artillery as well as attached units. They include former Wagner members and PONA volunteers from assault units. The ratio in terms of manpower is practically 1 to 8, 1 to 10. For every one of our infantrymen, there are actually about 8 to 10 occupiers. In such conditions, our fighters are trying to hold the city and not let the enemy advance, neither from the south nor from the north, although the enemy does not give up on capturing Chasiv Yar as it is a dominant height. This is an opportunity to create the same logistical hub for accumulating our troops and further movement towards Kostiantinivka. Returning power to Toretsk, it's worth noting that despite all the claims from the occupiers, Toretsk is holding strong. This is even evidenced by a video with a Ukrainian flag which was posted on one from the buildings in Toretsk. Despite what the occupiers say about capturing Toretsk, the fighting continues. This is confirmed by Luhansk. The city still holding on. Street battles are ongoing in the urban area. The enemy is moving through several streets. Right now, we know about Modovardia Street, Jovtneva Street, and Kuzenva Street. They had to advance through these streets. Basically, if you look at the map, you can see that there are also some movements of the occupiers from Druzhba towards Dakhne. Part of Dakhne has practically ended up in the gray zone. The enemy is also moving from the iron, is moving in parallel with Babich-Nelipivka. The enemy is advancing also in the area of Nelipivka, which is further south. They are trying to move along the river, breaking through our defenses towards Leonidivka. Therefore, the blunderbuss is now held by our troops, but let's say it looks like appendicitis, which creates the prerequisites for the enemy to possibly be covered in ticks. Regarding Turkish, I'll repeat, the fighting continues. Right now, the defense line runs through several mines, and I'm cutting a cut. This is central Toretsk, where the line runs combat formations. The map shows that the enemy has pushed forward with a guiding appendage. It's guiding a strike in the direction of a sufficiently distant position. We have the opportunity to ask about the situation in Toretsk and in the surrounding areas from the press officer of the 28th Separate Mechanized Brigade, named after the Knights of the Winter Campaign, Evgenia Alkimov. I greet you, Zhenya.
Greetings you.
Glory Ukraine.
Glory to heroes.
Please tell me, is Toretsk still holding out? The fighting is ongoing, even though Russian propaganda claims that the city is completely occupied. Is it really... the city is still... does it still have these local battles, and it is not occupied by the occupiers?
Local battles are indeed taking place. The city is not completely occupied. This is, as the occupiers say, to take the city on credit, because for certain advances they receive certain bonuses. They often claim that the city is under their control, but administratively it is not under their control. There, in the area of responsibility of our brigade, the observation posts haven't changed, the positions haven't changed, although the enemy occasionally conducts quite heavy assaults. Recently, on February 8th, even with the involvement of assault aviation in the area of Druzhba, the result for the enemy's assault aviation turned out to be unsuccessful. Our unit shot down one of the planes regarding Dacha. You mentioned that everything is implemented, but I can say that Dacha is completely controlled by our units. Personally was this weekend at the positions right on the edge of the settlements. Those positions haven't changed. We're holding everything.
In your observation, has the enemy slowed down their movement or not? There was information that they are again deploying mechanized units with BMPs and airborne troops.
The enemy has not slowed down their pace. The only thing they change from time to time is the assaults with small assault groups to mechanized ones with air support. So, for quickly deploying units onto the front line, they use BMPs for support and MTLBs tanks, because we detect the enemy quite quickly even on their approaches. And in principle, the only option for them to quickly reach out and make contact is to throw a price at it. Lost equipment. To quickly throw these units into an assault. That's why they use equipment, like BMPs.
The enemy's tactics have changed on your section. They also destroy everything, targeting aviation, artillery, buildings, basically the high-rises, so that we can't establish ourselves and push forward with small groups.
The 9-story buildings across from us, basically the enemy is there trying to bring heavy weapons in. Also reports in the settlement where our unit is located, a sniper operates from time to time. The distance allows him to do so. But we are constantly delivering fire impact with all types of weapons there. So I can say that the enemy, they are located in those 9-story buildings, but they can't hold any kind of position there.
Please tell me, what is the biggest need right now? Right now, in your brigade? This is about reinforcements, equipment. What exactly?
First of all, we need drones and reinforcements in terms of personnel, because the work right now is quite tough, and to scale it up and perform effectively, we always need people plus drones. This is the main means of destruction. Right now, we are focusing on technology, which is why the drone has become our primary means of striking to destroy equipment, the infantry, even before they can get close to our infantry.
Thank you, my friend, for the information. It was a Priest Officer 28, has a mechanized of the 28th Mechanized Brigade named after the Knights of the Winter Campaign, Ivan Alkimov.